as we are on the eve, few hours after, some of you will become professed sisters, and tomorrow morning, the professed sisters become for life bound to Christ. A profession of vows is not only that we profess. To profess means that we declare. To profess means to declare. And what are we going to declare? That belong to Jesus. That we have chosen Jesus to be our spouse. That Jesus will be the only life, the only truth, the only love that we will be bound to. আস্তে আস্তে নিতে পারবে আস্তে আস্তে ওটা আস্তে আস্তে But you are going to declare it to the whole church, to the whole world, that you are bound by vows, that you belong to Jesus, that you are going to love Christ with undivided love and chastity. That you are going to love Christ through the freedom of poverty. That you are going to love Christ in total surrender, in obedience. That you are going to put that love for Christ in a living action by giving wholehearted and free service to the poorest of the poor. Once I picked up a man from an open drain, and his body was covered with worms, and I took him to the home, and he, a very strong voice, he said, I've lived like an animal in the street, but I'm going to die like an angel, loved and cared. 2 hours after he died, big smile on his face. He blamed nobody. He had no regret, no despair, didn't curse anybody. Every missionary of charity is the poorest of the poor. So that vow, we call it a vow, but actually it is our love, that undivided love for Christ in action. And where do we show our love? How do we show our love? By giving wholehearted and free service to the poorest of the poor. Do you really want to love Christ with undivided love? Are you really free? আমাদের রেজিস্ট্রি হয়ে গেছে কাটানতে রেজিস্ট্রি বাড়ি কোথায় এসো এসো Oh Jesus, send your spirit in this house. May your peace rest in this house. May your love rest in the heart of each one of them. This we ask to Christ our Lord. May your Father and the Son. তোমরা ছবি কোথায় আছে হ্যাঁ যিশু ছবি বাড়িতে রাখবে না হ্যাঁ কোথায় কোথায় বাড়ি তোমার Lord Jesus, send your spirit in this house. Send your love, your peace. Bless each member in this family. কোথায় এদিকে আসো Lord Jesus, send your Holy Spirit in this house. May your love and peace reign in each one of them. Let your joy be here. In this house you dwell. In this house you were born.
This we ask to Christ our Lord, in the Father and the Son. আশীর্বাদ দেবে সবাই, হ্যাঁ? হ্যাঁ? পাবে। ভেরি গুড। ঠিক আছে, আশীর্বাদ নিয়েছে। হ্যাঁ, তোমরা সবাই, তোমরা গড, ঠিক আছে? হ্যাঁ, ভালো। কম কম। আপনাকে এটা দেখালাম।
And we being human beings, so weak, so small, so miserable, very often we fall. But again, remember one thing, sisters, that God's mercy is much greater than all our weakness. That God's mercy is our strength. The fruit of faith is always love, always. If I believe, I begin to love. And if I really love, I cannot just remain like that. I must put that love into action. And that is service.
She's from Holland. And there are some from France, German, from Scotland, and England.
I've been hearing quite a lot about the work Mother Teresa was doing over here, and we decided that we'd quite like to come across and see for ourselves.
Because we heard about the work and we came just to work for a couple of months, just for a month.
Many people, many young people have found Jesus just to this humble contact with the poor. If we do it with Jesus, if we do it for Jesus, and if we do it to Jesus, then we are 24 hours with Him. Because He has said it to me. And our work is only that, feeding Him in the hungry, clothing Him, taking care of the sick, giving Him a home. Any part of the world, we are doing only that. That I was hungry, I was naked, I was homeless. We are fulfilling that part of the need of Christ. Do not be afraid. I have called you by your name. You are mine. I have no fear for you. As if you have a pure heart, if you have a humble heart, that humility and that purity will help you always to remain faithful to Jesus. To me, the greatest injustice done to the poor is not so much that we have deprived them of material things, but that we have deprived them of that dignity of the child of God, of the respect that we owe to a person. We think they're good for nothing, they're lazy, they're this, they're that. So many adjectives we add. And I think, to me, that is the greatest injustice. Because material things we can make up. But that thing is very difficult to return. And I always say, well, what would you do if you were in their place? If you have an empty stomach day after, if you saw your children dying of hunger, cold and so on, what would you do? You have not experienced that. No, none of us have experienced an empty. I never forget once I picked up a child of 6, 7 years old from the street, and could see in the face of the child hunger, real hunger. So I gave her bread. And she started eating the bread crumb, a crumb like this. And I said, eat the bread. You are hungry, eat the bread. And she said, I'm afraid when the bread is finished, I will be hungry again. So small, she was afraid of being hungry again. She has already experienced the pain of hunger. This we don't know. That's why it's easy for us with a full stomach to pass those adjectives. And that is the greatest injustice.
Poorest of the poor, the forgotten, helpless and homeless people whose homes are the desolate sidewalks of our cities. God put precious love in the heart of Mother Teresa and the missionaries of charity, His own tender compassion and concern for all people to see.
ঠিক আছে we talk much about the poor, but very little to the poor. There is so much talk about the hunger and all that. That we'll have food after 10 years, so much food. In the meantime, somebody is dying for a piece of bread and we don't even look at that person. Once they were having a very, very big conference in Bombay. And they were calculating in 15 years' time how much more food they'll have. Right in front of the house, there was a man about 25, 26 years old, dying actually of hunger. So I took him, put him in the car with me, and by the time I reached our house, he died. Oh. And he died purely of hunger. So there was, this opened my eyes. Yeah, we are calculating for tomorrow, and in the meantime, today, many people are dying for a piece of bread. I have never experienced to say to the people, I don't have. I can't give you. There's never been here that we didn't have one more plate of rice, one more bed, one more medicine. And say, for example, some time ago, a sister came one Friday morning and told me, Mother, there's no food. Today we'll have to tell people there is no food. And then that morning, by 9 o'clock, government closed all the schools. Nobody knew why the schools were closed. But all the bread was brought to us. So our people ate bread. God closed the schools, but he didn't let the people go without bread. That's the tender love of God. We have thousands of proofs of that. Make sure that humility be your strength. Without humility, there is no holiness.
This is a child with malnutrition who is also suffering from dehydration. Now, what we are trying to do here is to rehydrate the child, and this child, if not rehydrated properly, can die. Now, here we have other children in different phases of malnutrition. This is just one of them. We have also another child here with some infection in the angle of the mouth, which has caused a deformity.
Some time ago, I got a letter from a girl. She said she didn't use makeup for the month, and she sent that money. Or a family who has gone without, not cooking anything for lunch or for dinner, and that money they gathered, put together. Most of our ambulances are bought by people who have gone without a meal a week. And so I think this. Sometimes we also, once a month, we go without a meal. We don't cook anything at all, and then we use that money to repair the houses of our people. And our work is only that, feeding him the hungry, clothing him, taking care of the sick, giving him a home. Any part of the world, we are doing only that. That I was hungry, I was naked, I was homeless. We are fulfilling that part of the need of Christ. We are not social workers. We are not just to feed, just to do, but we are doing it to somebody. As one of our ministers in Delhi said, you and us, we are doing the same social work, but there's great difference between you and us. We do it for something, and you do it to somebody. And that somebody, they know it is Jesus for us. Last judgment also. And everybody understands that. Doesn't matter what religion or nationality or color or caste. That's a judgment for all of us. And so let us ask Our Lady today, when you are making your vows, make my heart like unto thine, meek and humble. Again and again, everything else will be given unto you, if you are meek and humble. Meekness with all you meet, and humility with God. This is our life. My concern is hungry and I feed him. And I was telling the sisters, I rather we make mistakes in kindness than work miracles in unkindness.
So this is, the first steps are the most important system. Again, this seems to be calcaneum, no? Acha. His name is really Andrew. There are a good many people that have to eat like animals, just with their head into the plate.
To make us one with God again. So do not be afraid. Jesus has said, you are precious to me. I have called you by your name. Never forget the ones that brought the Hindu man. Half his body was eaten up with worms and he had cancer, very bad cancer. And nobody could even stand near him. So I went to wash him. Then he said, why? I said, because I love you. And then this Hindu man shouted out, glory be to Jesus Christ through you. I said, no, glory be to Jesus Christ through you, because you are sharing the passion of Christ. You are allowing Jesus to relieve his passion in you by accepting it, by suffering with him. That half of his face tried to smile at me. The other half was eaten up. It was so beautiful. He did not scream, he did not curse, he did not just that. And it gave him that tremendous peace, the joy that in him, that Christ was relieving his passion. And a Hindu understood. Yeah, that's what we have to try to understand. And he comes in all our lives in a different way to relieve his passion. Love one another as Christ has loved each one of us. I think that's all that God wants us to do. And that, he has made it very clear. As the Father has loved me, I have loved you. Love one another as I have loved you. That's all. And by through this love, we become holy. And if we are holy, then we really, people can look up and see only Jesus in us. Because holiness is not the luxury of the few. It is a simple duty for each one of us. Jesus loved us until it hurt him. So let us love one another as he has loved each one of us. And do not forget that he is in the hungry, in the naked, in the homeless, in the sick, in the unwanted, in the unloved. And that whatever you do to the least of his brethren, Whenever you accept a little child in his name, you receive him. And share this joy with all you meet, especially the poorest of the poor. He loves you. He will always abide with you because you are precious to him. He has called you by your own name. He loves you. You belong to him. Love him with undivided love. Jesus has said very clearly, by this love for one another, they will know you are my disciples. And this is the only way for us to proclaim Christianity, Christ's message. Now, 5 people are taken so much by the work. What we are doing is nothing extraordinary, nothing special. But the sisters, not only that they are doing it, but they are happy to do it. And that happiness comes from that union with Christ. And people see that, and then they want to share that happiness. People are hungry for happiness. They want happiness. And so many come. We get many young people as volunteers coming and working with us. Many from all over the world.